Hey everybody, Horst here again. I have a video, this time another PvZ between myself and a Zerg named Forestwind. He is 2100 points diamond on the ladder. I'm currently 22, so it's pretty even. This is going to be a similar video to the one I posted last time about the 6 gate into a Mortal Stalker Templar. This is going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be the same type of theme towards the end game. The end game is just that, the end game. It's the goal. How you get there is very different. You can do it a lot of different ways, so this is going to showcase another method. Again, start off with the exact same type of opening. It's a 3-gate fast expand I'm using as a base. Pretty much every strategy I use comes off of that, unless it's a 1-base all-in cheese or a 15 nexus. So yeah, you just wall in at your front here with your gateway. A cyber core will go here. If you look over at what the Zerg is doing, he's doing a very standard gas, then pool, then expand. The reason Zergs do this is so that you can't cannon them up so easily here. They get Zerglings quick enough, and you also can't pile on block like I usually do. If you pile on block, it'll set him back only a little bit, whereas if he goes hatch first and you block it, he's set back a lot. This pool will help him get Zerglings out quick enough to stop you. Also, he'll get speed for his Zerglings quickly, so it'll repel a blink rush. Blink being one of the most annoying things you can do as a Protoss. But I'm not doing either of those. I'm just going for a regular build, get my gateway, a forge up. In this replay, I'm going to go for very fast upgrades. This will be my theme. Fast upgrades the whole time. I like upgrades because they make your units better, and that's great because Protoss units are expensive and you never have many of them. So he gets his hatch down on time. He has Zerglings out, so the pylon, if I put it there, wouldn't have done anything. It would have just died quickly. So I'll fall back. Oh, I canceled the forge. I was planning on cannoning his ramp here, but he got Blings out in time. So I'm just going to go for a 3-gate fast expand. Not really a fast expand, normal expand. But yeah, you can see he's getting Zergling speed to fend off any rushes I might do. Evolution Chamber for fast upgrades himself, and also Spore Crawlers if I go for a Void Ray rush. Getting Warp Gates. Yeah, it's important in this build to get gas, both of them fairly quickly. A lot of builds will stay on one gas. A lot of builds will stay on one gas so you can get more minerals quickly, but for this one you want a lot of sentries, so you don't really need the minerals as much. But once you have about 40 supply, a couple of units, a couple of sentries, you can go ahead and expand. It's pretty safe. If he tries to Zergling bust, you just force field the ramp, force field around your units, make a nice wall of death, and he won't be able to bust through it. All the Zerglings will die. So he doesn't even try at this point. He knows that those guys would all die if he tried. But the Nexus goes down. More units come out. The Forge is up at this point. I need the Forge to get some cannons. If he does go for like a Roach Zergling all-in, I'm going to want those cannons. You always want to keep a Zealot around here just in case he starts to run in, so you can block that. You don't want him running into your base. There's not going to be any defenses up here. Look at this from just what I know. I know absolutely nothing about him. I know he has that lair tech right now because I see an Overseer flying around. So that means he's either going for fast Mutalisks or fast Hydralisks. Which one is anyone's guess at this point, and I don't really know. However, I do have cannons at this expansion, so Mutas wouldn't be too devastating here. Or they could poke in the back, but wouldn't be too bad. But we're going to poke now and see what he's got. And we saw a couple of Hydralisks. There they are. That's all we wanted to see. Just flee. Just get back. Let me know he has Hydras. I actually have dual Forges and Twilight Council going up. The purpose of the Twilight Council, give me access to level 2 upgrades. The dual Forges, obviously, is to give me dual upgrades. Now, this is actually a very good tech against what he's done, because with the Twilight Council I have access to Templar as well as upgrades, and Templar are an excellent counter to Hydras, so we'll be going for Templar with heavy upgrades. And it should work out pretty well. check the income tab. I'm right about where I should be at this point in the game with 42 harvesters and climbing. I'll probably need to expand somewhat soon. Once you hit around 50, 60 harvesters, you want to expand. Little supply blocks, nothing too much. If we go back to the all view, you can see he's taking very good map control from me. With the overseers and overlords, he's doing a good job. And his army is starting to become truly scary. Hydralisks and Zerglings is very powerful. Much more powerful than straight Hydra Roach. Does a lot more damage. But it's a little easier to blow through with AoE. Yeah, the Zergling individually does way more DPS for its cost than a Roach does. But it's not nearly as durable. It doesn't stand up to as much punishment. So we'll just continue to tech. Got dual upgrades still going. Templar Archives researching. You can see he's going for upgrades as well. He already has one carapace. And he's getting a second, I thought he was getting a second evolution chamber, but he is researching carapace level 2. And here comes his first attack. Relatively undefended here. I was going with my main to fend off this stupid overseer. But the photon cannons will keep him busy until I can get there to help. At this point my army is definitely a little bigger than his, so I can take this. The Hydralisks are extremely slow off creep, so you can chase them down. And he runs into a bottleneck here, so I'm just going to trap them. And they're all going to die. These Hydras are very expensive, so you want to take them out whenever you can. Yeah, no one has an upgrade advantage at this point. But I did grab all his Hydras. That gives me an advantage in units lost, which is good. Templar Amulet starting to research. Level 2 weapons almost done. Level 1 armor finally done. And I'm going to start taking this expansion over here. He's already ahead of me taking expansions, but that's normal for Zerg. They always have more. And then I finally have Templar up, starting to get energy for storms. One of the key benefits from going for fast upgrades is that the Zerg is forced to keep up with upgrades, and so his units remain as effective. But because he's keeping up with me in upgrades, that means he's not going to want to switch over to a different tech as readily. He's not going to want to switch to mutas, which are going to be 0-0 upgrades against my 2-2 stalkers, because the stalkers will just be way more cost effective against the mutalisks than normal. So you're kind of encouraging him to stick with the one tech that you know he has. And you can see we're going to have an engagement here. He's a little ahead of me in food, that's normal. Storms will do a decent job at clearing these Hydras out. However, at this point in the game, I don't have many Templar. I only have 3. And only had enough energy for 2 storms. I thought I had enough energy for a third, so I'm getting cleaned up here. I need to fall back. Still going to lose some Templar. Look at the production tab. Amulet finally finished, so now I can just warp in Templars with enough energy for storms. And we're just going to clean those Hydras up. Units lost, still about even. He's lost a little bit more, that's great. Checking back the production tab. Again, weapons continuously upgrading for me. And keeping warping in more units. At this point my macro is slipping a little bit. I need more gateways down. One of my main problems is I never have enough gateways. I gotta work on that. But everyone has something they gotta work on, right? I'm just cut through them. Well, he is starting to go Roach in response to Templar. That's a great idea. The Templar are great at doing AoE damage to mutas, but not so much against Roaches, because Roaches have so much hit points, you just can't kill them with Storm. And I'm researching Blink just in case he goes for mutas. I won't be able to catch them and kill them. Upgrade wise, I have an advantage. I have 1 attack more than he does. Not that big a deal, but it gives me somewhat of an advantage. Now I'm going to lose this battle, so let's retreat the Stalkers, leave the Zealots there to die. The Zealots will hold them long enough to get the Stalkers away, hopefully. And I can engage him at my base with photon cannons. And more Templar to warp in with more storms. Great. More been reinforcements. I finally got some more gateways online, so now I have enough to keep my money lower. Now I see he has Burrow, which is definitely a trigger to start going Robotech. You need observers to counter that, and because he is getting more and more roaches, you're going to need immortals as well. This is that Immortal Stalker Templar composition I was talking about earlier in my last video. It's an endgame composition. You don't start off making them all at once. You got to go one at a time. So I went Templar first in this one. I think in the last video I went Immortal first. Just depends on what your opponent does more of. But we'll engage here. No, he's running away. But we got to keep up with the Zergan expansion.